Good morning. Let's get it on. It's Truth Bomb Thursday. I know it's your favorite. I used to worry about people would like me, what they would think about what I said. I just worry in general, nothing specific. Just are they gonna like me? Are they gonna think I'm crazy? Are they gonna laugh at what I'm saying? Or whatever? Are they gonna think that I'm this wannabe? Whatever it was. And now I really just focus on, am I being helpful? Like, I don't really care if I'm liked as much as I now care if I'm being helpful. Because when people feel like you can help them, they'll like you, right? They'll want to be around you. They'll want to start a relationship with you. But if you're worried about being liked, you're thinking about yourself, right? You want to worry about, am I being helpful? Am I serving? Am I improving the quality of the lives of the people that are listening to me, that are showing up for Daily Dose, my clients, my followers, our members? Am I being helpful, right? And that is the one thing about sales, is that we have a brilliant course on how to become a professional salesperson and literally walk people down a path to agreement. There are 6 critical steps, psychological steps, to becoming a very effective salesperson. And one of the main causes of failure in business is that the salesperson is thinking about themselves. They might be saying all the right things, they might be expressing the right script, and they might have like great tonality in their voice. But if they're worried about themselves, if they're thinking about themselves or worrying about what that other person thinks of them, or if they're going to say yes, or if you're going to, get a sale today, if they're going to like you, they're picking that up vibrationally, right? They're picking that up intuitively. They may not know that's what's going on, but your prospect, the person you're talking to, they're going to feel that. And they're going to go, you're saying all the right things. And you might have like the best kick-ass product or service, but if you're thinking about yourself, they're going to feel that. It's called a double binding message. Okay, so what you're saying and how you're expressing yourself outwardly is not matching what's going on internally, what you're saying inside, how you're feeling inside. Therefore, you're sending out a double binding message. You're having 2 conversations with them, one on the physical plane, right, and one on the emotional plane. And they're going to go, yeah, something's off. And they may not know why. They might not say, oh, she's sending out double binding messages and her vibration is not aligned with her messaging. But they're going to go, yeah, something doesn't feel right about this. And like I said, it's a bummer because you might very well have the product or service that is the answer to their prayers, the solution to their problems. But if you're thinking about yourself, you're going to sabotage the sale. It happens a lot. It's one of the things that we will look at your kink in your sales hose. I had a great conversation with somebody yesterday who's literally sitting on what I believe to be a golden egg in this economy and in this industry and in this time. And she knows, she's like, straight up, I'm worried I'm going to talk too much. And she, as a result, is not converting into selling. So we identified kinks in the hose, and I explained to her that, when you're watering your garden or you're putting the hose on for some reason, and you crank the water up and there's like a low output. And you're like, I want more water. Like, this is not enough water. So you crank it, you open it, you open it, you open it. Well, you're never going to get more water until you unkink your hose. There's a kink in your hose. So it doesn't matter, how many calls you're on or how many posts you make on social media or how much you get out there. If there's a kink in your hose, you're not going to get the output, the results that you want until you unkink that hose. So you've got to identify the kinks in your hose. And the very first place you want to look at is what's going on inside. What are you worried about? Are you thinking about yourself, or are you putting the full focus on your prospect or who you're talking to? Anyway, side note to today's Truth Bomb Thursday. That's why, because like I said, I used to worry about, what are they going to think of me? And am I going to look stupid? Are they going to believe me? And whatever it is, you're in the growing learning zone. But really, people will like you if you can help them, if you're being helpful. And there's so much crap out there. It doesn't take me but 2 minutes looking at Facebook just to see how much information that is being thrown at people that is just crap. Like, no wonder people are confused. No wonder people are stuck. No wonder people are trying a whole bunch of different strategies and, a whole bunch of thoughts and ideas and beliefs. And oh my God, they're so confused. They're so stuck because of the information overload, right? So what we're going to talk about today is that if you want to get to where you've never been, you know that you're going to have to do things differently. You are working with, where you are today is a result of how you've been thinking, what you've been doing, okay? And ultimately, what you believe to be true about you, your belief system. And in order to get to where you want to go, you are going to have to make some changes to what you think, to how you feel, and to what you're doing. Now, I can give you something that's very, very important that'll clear up a lot of confusion and chaos for you within a millisecond. And it is one thing that all successful people, high performers, have gotten really good at, either intentionally, consciously putting effort into this discipline, or they were conditioned to be this way. A lot of people know what to do and they're not doing it. And it's not because they're lazy. It's because they lack discipline. They have discipline, but in the wrong direction. Okay, they're disciplined in procrastinating. They're disciplined in indecision. They're disciplined in thinking from worry and doubt and fear of criticism and judgment. They're very disciplined in a lot of areas, but they're disciplined in the wrong areas. And so it looks like, a person just doesn't want it enough, or they're lazy, or whatever it is, but they just lack discipline. Now, in order for you to cultivate the discipline necessary to achieve your goals and dreams, you're going to have to do two things. Number one, decide what you want. Okay? Decide, do you know exactly where you want to be in 12 months? Do you have a very clear picture of who you want to be, what you have, and where you are in the next 6 to 12 months? Like, crystal clear. Not, it would be nice if, maybe I'd like that, I would take this or that. You have a very clear picture, because where you are today is your picture. Okay, you know exactly where you are today. You know how you spend your days. You know what you think about. You know what's in your bank account. You know your income. You know where your business is at. You know where your problems are. You know where your strengths are. You know exactly where you are. You need to be that clear in your picture for the future. Number one. Okay, then you have to decide, I am going to have that. Do I want it? Yes. Will I have it? Yes. When you're doing this process, and often this is one of the hardest parts of the transformation of the quantum leap, is deciding what do you really want, getting really clear. And you cannot take into consideration anything like where you are, the money, the people, the economy, if you think you can or can't, or challenges you've had in the past, or attempts that you've tried in the past. And you can't take any of that stuff into the equation. Okay, what do you really want? What would you love? What would you absolutely love to see happen in your life? And at some point, it's got to scare you. It's got to scare you like, oh my God, I can, like that. Holy crap, I don't even know I don't know how to do that. Perfect. Because if you're setting the right types of goal, if you want a quantum leap, like if you want slow progression, incremental steps, step by step, rank by rank, whatever it is, then obviously this is not the process for you. But if you want to get from where you are well beyond where you are, like jumping rungs up the ladder, like skipping a whole bunch of steps, okay, and that's a quantum leap. You can be somewhere completely different in 6 to 12 months, okay? But not if you keep doing what you're doing. Not if you keep thinking the way that you're thinking, and not if your belief system and your paradigm stays the same, okay? Your results are 95% mindset, 5% strategy, what you're doing, okay? So you can take massive action, okay? But if you have a negative internal attitude about yourself, or concept of self, or this is hard, or whatever it is, or if you're worried about what other people are going to think, if you're worried about if you're going to fail, if you're worried that people are going to laugh at you, whatever it is, you have a negative internal attitude. And remember, it is the inside world that is producing your outside world. So it doesn't matter if you have this like super positive expression. It's how you really feel about yourself on the inside that is ultimately in charge of all of your success and failures. So you're going to have to make some changes. You will not make those changes if it's not worth it to you. That's why it's called a worthy goal, a worthy ideal. We start you with your want list. If you're a challenger, we started you with a want list. You want to pick the one thing that you want the most, personally and professionally, because it has to be worth it. You're not going to go through the transformation, the growing zone, the learning zone, okay, and the insecurity that you're going to feel because you're outside of your norm. You're outside of logical. You're outside of what you've always thought and done. So you have to pick a goal that is worth the transformation, that is worth hitting the terror barrier, that is worth changing the way that you're doing things, giving things up to replace them with something better. So number one, got to be a worthy goal. Number two, you got to decide that you're willing to pay the price, that you're willing to do whatever it takes. And I'm not talking about trying harder. I'm talking about thinking, feeling, being, then doing different than you've done before. Because if you keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, that is insanity. It's not going to happen, right? So you've got to be willing to make these changes, and you won't unless you absolutely are willing to trade the rest of your life for what you're going after. So you can't be setting small goals or smart goals. They're not smart. They are not smart goals. Okay. Now, of course, we work with people that want to get there fast. We work with people that, want to completely change the direction of not only their lives, but their kids' lives and their future generation lives. Like what we deal with is massive shifts, massive quantum leaps, where you literally change your identity to match your dream. Okay. So what do I want? You got to make a decision, and it's got to be a committed decision. Leverage. Leverage is so important. It is so critical. And I swear to God, it is the reason for most of my successes. I learned how to leverage myself. I learned how to use leverage. I learned how to hook myself in so deeply into my future dreams and goals, the life I want to live, that I literally had no choice but to see it through, to create the disciplines, to create new habits, to create a new self-image. Because I had no doors left open. There was no doors. I put myself in corners for a reason, because that's when we get most creative. So leverage is huge. And this is Truth Bomb Thursday, so I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do. It takes guts. It takes courage, and you can't do it alone. You need three things. Okay, imagine you have a three-legged stool. And if on a three-legged stool, if you are missing a leg, it's wobbly and it falls over. It doesn't work. You can't sit on a three-legged stool if you're missing a leg. So there are three legs to your success. There are three key components for you to become the person you need to become to do and have the things you want to do and have. Remember, it's be, do, have. First, you become the person on the inside. Then you do, your actions are aligned with the dream, and then you have and get. That's the only way. That is the only way that you're going to get there. So what you need some form of blueprint, some form of formula. You have all the puzzle pieces. You have all the ingredients, but you don't have the lid for the box, or you don't have the recipe. So you need the recipe. Okay, step by step. I just said, tell me what to do and I will do it. I will do exactly what you tell me to do if it'll lead me to the life I want to live. And that's exactly what I got. And that's exactly what I give now. So you need that, okay? You can't just be going and looking for the answers sporadically and here and there, hit and miss now and then. You've got to get yourself into a recipe or a blueprint to success. Number two, your paradigm, your old belief system, your old habits, they are strong. They have been with you for decades. And in order for you to override that old belief system, paradigm, and habits, you are going to need two very effective components. One is the right type of support, and one is the right type of accountability. Accountability closes the gap between I want, I intend, to actually having, getting, receiving the results. Okay, accountability, but it has to be effective form of accountability. And you've got to be with someone who understands the mind, that understands what you're up against, that knows how to reprogram belief systems, how to permanently change habits, how to do all of these things, right? You've got great people around you, no doubt. No doubt you've got great people, and they're probably inspiring, and they're probably great friends or great leaders or great managers, or there's people that you follow virtually, right? Because we have access to anybody all over the world now. And that's wonderful. You need that. But you also need people with specialized knowledge in the area that you're trying to grow in. You know, you don't become an Olympian and then hire a coach, an Olympic coach. You hire an Olympic coach and then become an Olympian, right? They have specialized knowledge that they can intelligently direct, and they understand, you know, what is required of you to get to where you want to go. So that is Truth Bomb Thursday, and I want you to really hear me in your heart, really hear the truth and the commitment I have to you so that you can live the life that you absolutely love. You know, I often think, Crystal, you've done some great things. Like, you've probably done things that most people think are impossible, that they could never, or they thought you could never, you know, get to this point. And I go, yeah, it's been great, but I also know that I'm barely scratching the surface because I have infinite potential. Like, there's no end to the possibilities. There's no end to what I can experience. Okay, we're here to experience. The question is, what do you want to experience in this lifetime? You've been gifted everything. You were born with this innate potential and this mind and these mental faculties and this desire. Okay, and that's already within you. And so I want you to really dream big. And if your clients, you've got yourself involved in this, I want you to double down. I want you to take your life seriously. Take your program seriously. Take the success principles seriously. Don't give up on your dream. Don't let other people steal your dream. Don't let your bullshit belief system steal your dream. Right? Here is the formula. Here is the blueprint. Follow it. Master it. Master yourself. Hillary always said, I didn't conquer Mount Everest. I conquered myself, and then I climbed Mount Everest. Okay? You got to master yourself. You got to master and discipline the model, the thinking, the beliefs, and your actions that you're taking, because they have got to match the dream. You can't just wish yourself there. You can't hope yourself there. And you cannot take an ordinary path. You cannot keep doing what you're doing and expect to be rewarded with the life of your dreams. Because I'm telling you, it's not going to happen. And you know it's not going to happen, because if it hasn't happened yet, then you got to make some changes, right? So I'm here to be helpful. And because I'm being helpful, I know that you are going to appreciate that. Because there's enough fluff and just crap all over the place. And I only want to deliver real help that gets you real results. Because I've been there. I know what it's like to want something so bad and to want to improve, but you're stuck and you keep trying and you keep trying harder and it's not working. And you're like, what gives? Something's got to break through. I'm doing all the things. I'm doing more things than half the people I know. And I'm still not breaking through, right? And I didn't have the recipe. I didn't have the right type of support. I didn't have the right type of accountability. I had great friends. I had great community. I had good stuff. But I was lacking those three key concepts, those three legs to my three-legged stool. So that's your Truth Bomb Thursday. Get out there, kick ass, practice the law of Goya, which is the law of get off your ass, and match your actions with your dreams. It's your dreams. Nobody can do this for you. It's your dreams, and you've got to do the work, and you can. All right? Reach out if you want to chat about that. If you need some help, a discovery session or a strategy session, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I will be here until my last day in this physical plane. I'm here to serve. That's what I'm here to do. Have a beautiful, blessed day, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.